In אור הממלא, איש המזרע תחילה יולדת זכר. In אור הממלא, if the woman initiates first, yes, then the result is a good solid result. But that's in אור הממלא. אור הסובב doesn't matter. Avoida of her avoida that cannot reach that light anyhow. It is so above worlds that worlds cannot reach. And therefore, avoida here would not make a difference. Good evening. Tonight is the eve of the 7th of Shvat. We are preparing for Yud Shvat, Haba Aleinu L'Toiba. I want to again dedicate the shiur to Le'ilu Nishmas Maras Orna Bas Chaim Alea Shalom. I would also like to dedicate the shiur Le'ilu Nishmas Avi Mori, Harav Tzvi Ben Yehuda Halevi Alav Shalom, my father, whose yortzeit was today Vav Shvat, and Lehavdil Ben Chaim Lechaim for the birthday of my granddaughter Basia Rivka Bas Ora Malka. She's 8 years old, Baruch Hashem. She should have a good year, a blessed year, Begashmius and Beruchnius. And of course, we want to dedicate the shiur to the safety of all the Chayalim and Chayalot, the Tzva Hagana L'Yisrael, that will protect us by being completely victorious, and nobody should be harmed, not beguf and not benefesh, for the recovery of those that are injured and not well, and for the liberation of those who are in captivity, and for the Geulah Amitis V'Shlema. We are in Bezrat Hashem finishing the Maimar today of Roni V'Simchi, Bas Tzion. We are in Torah Or, Parshas Miketz, page 74, about a third from the bottom on the right side, the line that starts Ela Birnana, and after the dot there, after the full stop, and then Bezeu Sheba Hanavi Lenachem et Bnei Israel. This is the 7th chapter of Roni V'Simchi, and the 6th we will review through going quickly through the review Michla prepared for us. So number 1, what type of avoda gives Knesset Israel the title Tzion? You can all unmute yourselves. What type of avoda gives Knesset Israel the title Tzion?
When the avoda is like an awakening from above, from below, I'm sorry.
Right.
So then it brings out the high level of Tzion, which is like a pointer, which points to the ruchnius of the mitzvahs point to the ruchnius of every single thing.
Right, and we become also a Tzion by being a channel for Elokus.
Yeah.
So we become a Tzion. There is Isarusa Deletata, with his work from below, and there is initiation from below. Then we are called Tzion because we are Tziyun. We become a pointer for Elokus. We ourselves become a channel for Elokus. Number 2, during what time period is Knesset Yisrael called Bas Tzion? Anyone besides Michla?
That's during Golus, that we are considered Bas Tzion because there isn't that much of a Isarus Latata. We're more like a Mekabel.
Right.
And we don't have that usually, so we call the Bas Tzion.
Right. So when there is not much of avoda from below and there's no results of that kind, which means serving God without ava and yira, not being inspired, just going through the motions. Kabbalas Ol, which has its own maila, but serving Hashem, to the most, serving Hashem with Kabbalas Ol, rather than with personal inspiration. Then we are called Bas Tzion. Number 3, what are the 2 differences in the Or, in the light, that is brought down with Renana and without Renana?
So with Renana is the concept of Ivdu as Hashem Simcha Bo Lefanav Birnana. You have the Pneumius. It's a deeper kind of light of Or אין-סוף that you bring down, and also stronger.
Yes, so
More-
you
more
jumped a little
lasting.
bit. You jumped a little bit ahead, but okay. But yes, but we the hamshacha. This is more in the beginning of the sixth parak. The hamshacha, like ish mazriya tchila yoledes nekeva. The
That's an
hamshacha that
explosion.
comes from above, when there is no initiation from below, as Fradl says. And there is only ish mazriya tchila, that the initiation is only from above, the inspiration comes mishamayim from above, then yoledes nekeva. What is nekeva, Michla?
It's more of a makabel. It's not as strong. It's not as deep.
Right, so the Abbas Hashem that is born, and the result is not deep, is more superficial, and you are right. It also reaches, even though a person still does Torah and mitzvahs, so he does bring Or אין-סוף, but it's more the chitzonius. He can reach more chitzonius of Or אין-סוף. Bo lefanav birnana, if you want to reach pnimius Or אין-סוף, says Michla, then there has to be avoida from below. So, and then the result is, Isha mazra schila yoledet zachar. If a woman seeds first, then she gives birth to a male, which zachar here represents zachar chasdo, which represents chesed ava, that is bivchinas zachar. Zachar means male, means lasting and deep.
I'm just saying, but why is it called chesed? Or,
Because
chasad?
milemala, what is mamshich is when what a person, what is the result of it? He is mamshich inspiration enough from above that he is awakened with ava that is called zachar, that is called a lasting, deep, strong love to Hashem.
But why is that chesed? I mean,
Because
What-
it's hamshacha milemayla.
okay.
It's the hamshacha milemayla that comes as a result of what he invested.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's Isha mazra schila. If there is work, birnana, lefanav birnana, then yoledet zachar. Then the result of it that she is experiencing is a nekeva, a love, which is called. That's why I brought the pasuk zachar chasdo. Zachar is connected with ava, and nekeva is isha yirash avaya. Isha yiras Hashem, hisis halal. Isha is more connected with yira, and a male is more connected with ava. So zachar chasdo, the yoledet zachar, if the initiation is from below, she gives birth to a type of love, zachar, which is love. Zachar chasdo, chesed is love, which is b'fchinas zachar, which means a lasting, strong love to Hashem.
The concept of Psukei de Zimra and Shema Yisrael, how does that fit into the same concept of what we're saying with Renana and Simcha?
See, the Rebbe says that the avoida, we are going back to, now we know what Tzion and what Bas Tzion is, okay? So Tzion is when the avoida of Yisrael is kedebai. It's a proper kind of service. That we have bo lefanav birnana, meaning that we are yearning to uplift ourselves, to ascend to higher levels, to go to exit from the confinements of our kelim, and become less materialistic and more spiritual and more divine and less animalistic, and so on and so forth. And so too, regarding part of this avoida, of bo lefanav birnana, of the initiation, from below, obviously, intrinsic and in cardinal part is our tefillah. And therefore, Chazal were establishing Psukei de Zimra, which is basically to ignite the heart through his boinenus on the praises of Hashem. Psukei de Zimra, psukim of praising. To first bring out shivcho shel makom, the praise of Hashem, so the heart should be touched. And then the Yotzer Or Borech Hoshech, and the Inyan of Kedusha of the Malachim, and the Ofanim. All this is an expression of the avoida of Bo Lefanav Birnana, of the wish to exit the imprisonment of the body and the nefesh habahamis. Then comes the avodas hasimcha when there is a gilui or ein-sof, mamash, on one's soul in Kriya Shema. And if there is no Rina first, then there is no gilui of simcha.
So we also had in the past, we had the concept of in between of Baruch Shem, the Mavrich, a little bit that we had before, Mavrich is Hagefen.
Okay.
So I assume that would fit in, I'm thinking that would fit into the whole concept of bringing our in-sof down.
Yes, the part of the avodah, in this case, mitzvah. So it could be Torah. If Torah is a mitzvah, also learning Torah. Regarding the brachas of the mitzvahs. We have brachas in Tefillah too, which, yes, also bring ours down. Yes. Very good. Your last question, I think we will wait till the end of the 7th chapter that we will learn tonight, in Yirtzeh Hashem. And let's go inside to the page I said. What was it, 74? It's not in front of me now. And וזהו שבא הנביא לנחם את בני ישראל אפילו בזמן הגלוס. Now that we know what Roni v'Simchi Bas Tzion, we have now the Navi Zechariah is Menachem us, consoling us that even Bas Tzion, not only Tzion, we learn that only Tzion can come to a real Simcha. Why? Because Tzion prepared its Keli. And now when she comes to Shema, there is a Gilui of Or ein-sof in the Nefesh, and when there is a Gilui of Or ein-sof in the Nefesh, there is an experience of Simcha, of joy. But what about Bas Tzion, when we're not doing the avodah the way it's supposed to be? So how come the Navi says, Roni v'Simchi Bas Tzion? Roni and Simchi Bahu, not Tzion, Bas Tzion. וזה שבא הנביא לנחם את בני ישראל אפילו בזמן הגלוס. And really it's talking regarding our times. What percentage of us, of the Jewish people, are in a position, a condition of Tzion, and what percentage Bas Tzion? We would say that most of Yidden these days are Bas Tzion at best, because Bas Tzion at least does Torah mitzvahs, doesn't have the inspiration, the love and the Ava and Yira, but he has Kabbalas Ol at least. What percentage is Tzion with inspiration, with Ahavas Hashem, with Yiras Hashem? וזה שבא הנביא לנחם את בני ישראל. Now we will understand the גודל of the חידוש, the innovation that the Navi is bringing here. אפילו בזמן הגלוס. He is consoling בני ישראל even in the time of גלוס, שנקרא בס ציון ולא ציון. At the time of galus, when we are in spiritual exile, when we are not well connected with ourselves, with Hashem, with the oneness of Hashem, with His presence, and there's a lot of concealment. Then we are Bas Tzion because we are not inspired, we are not seeing, we are not hearing. Nevertheless, the Navi comes to Menachem Bnei Israel at the time of Galus, שנקרא Bas Tzion ולא ציון, and not ציון, שאף על פי כן, nevertheless, רוני ושמחי, הוא Bas Tzion. והיינו, why? מפני כי הנני בא, because I am coming, said Hashem. And this is what the Alter Rebbe is bringing here. This is the peak of the Maimar. The Navi says, כי הנני בא ושכנתי בשוחך נאום השם. The Navi, after the Navi says, Roni v'Simchi Bas Tzion, why? Why you should be so glad and happy, the daughter of Tzion? כי הנני בא, because I'm coming, says Hashem, ושכנתי בשוחך נאום הוויה. And I will dwell within you, in you. So said Hashem. כי הנה, יש איסרוסא דלעילא, שהיא לעילא לעילא. There is a kind of איסרוסא דלעילא which is called לעילא and לעילא. Which means, the Rebbe will say now that we know that there is a normal relationship between איסרוסא דלתתא and איסרוסא דלעילא. We know already that if it begins with איסרוסא דלעילא, and there's no איסרוסא דלתתא, then the result is Shvach. It's not so, it maybe awakens a person to begin, but it's Shvach. The result is not lasting, it's not strong, it's not solid, it's not deep. Then we know that there is another איסרוסא דלעילא. There is איסרוסא דלעילא that follows איסרוסא דלתתא. That's a higher kind of איסרוסא דלעילא. Right, Fegi? It's a higher kind of איסרוסא דלעילא. Now the Rebbe says, well, there is an איסרוסא דלעילא that is called איסרוסא שהיא לעילא לעילא. Double time לעילא. What does it mean? מקום שאין איסרוסא דלתתא מגז שם כלל. It's a place, it's not a physical place, it's a locus, it's a level of godliness where initiation from below cannot reach there whatsoever. What is it? הוא בחינת סובב כל העלמין. This is the divine light that is called סובב כל העלמין. The light, there is, as we know, there is ממלא כל העלמין and סובב כל העלמין. The light which is called ממלא כל העלמין is the way Elokus tailors itself to the capacity, to the kelim of the world, of the makablim, of creations. And then there is סובב כל העלמין. It's a light of Hashem that is present, in fact, brings us into existence all the time. Talking now, tomorrow night, Imot Hashem will discuss it in Basi Legani, very prominent topic. Nevertheless, it's completely superconscious, it's sovev. It's here, but we're not aware of it at all. And then, actually, Hasidus explains that regarding this Or HaSovev, there are also generally two levels there too. This Or HaSovev is not tailored, is not limited, is not compromised. It remains infinite and it affects everyone equally. In this light too, there is the aspect of Or HaSovev, but the Rebbe is not going into it, I think, here. But there's aspect of Or HaSovev, more external aspect, that is because of which is called Sovev. Sovev means it surrounds. Surrounds what? Surrounds the worlds. It's not surrounding in location. It's in the worlds too, but it surrounds their ability to perceive. It's encompassing. It's above. But then, but if you say surround something surrounds something else, it means that there is a relation here. So when you say Sovev has a relation to worlds, it's take above, but it's Sovev. But Pnimius of Or HaSovev has nothing, is completely not in relation to, incomparable, and not in relation to worlds whatsoever. And this is what the Rebbe is called Le'ela Le'ela. That means that it is a locus that is so high that worlds have no way to have any impact. And no avoida will be reaching there, and no keli will be ready for it. And you don't, and for that reason, you really don't need a keli, because no keli will be comparable to this high level of light. Or HaSovev. Here Rebbe says, generally the Rebbe says, Hu b'chinas sovev kol almin. This is the infinite light of Hashem. Elokus, the way it doesn't compromise itself to be tailored to our capacity to perceive it. ומשם יומשך גילוי שפע ואור אין סוף ברוך הוא גם בבחינות בס. And there will come a day, and these are our days, we came to these days, that from there, from Eila Le'ela, will be brought down from infinite godliness, the way it is not limited, will be brought down a revelation of Shefa and Or, אין-סוף Baruch Hu, of Shefa, of all kinds of revelations. And how do you say Shefa in English? I don't know. Flow, divine flow of all kinds, spiritual, physical, and it will be in a manner of Or אין-סוף, and Or, Shefa and Or. גם בבחינת בס. It will be revealed even in that condition which is called bas, when we are not a keli, when we are not refined. וזה יהיה לעתיד לבוא. This will be in the future to come. שנאמר, which means by the Geulah, tonight, בעזרת השם, שנאמר, it says, הנה ישכיל עבדי, שיהו ירום ונישא, talks about Mashiach, he will be exalted and will be uplifted, וגבוה מאוד, will be very high. מאוד is an indication of infinity, generally in Chassidus. ונח עליו רוח השם, the spirit of God will rest upon him. והריחו וגומר, he will be able to smell the yiras shamayim of people. That's how we will detect the yiras shamayim of people through chush hareach, which represents also the inyan of makif versus tam. So the gilui of Or HaSobev Kol Almin, Or אין-סוף itself, which is higher than worlds, will be in the Geulah, as it says about Mashiach, that he represents that human experience of Yaskil Avdi, my servant, Mashiach, who is the collective Jewish soul, really, the representative of the collective Jewish soul. Yaskil, he will conceptualize very high levels of consciousness. Avdi, my servant, says Hashem. Yarum v'nisa, he will be very exalted and uplifted, v'gava me'od, and he will be very high, and me'od, as I said, infinitely so. And this is because of this Or Eloki that will come from Le'ela or Le'ela, Or HaSobev Kol Almin, that will dwell in Mashiach. And therefore, Nach alav Ruach Habayeh, the Spirit of God will dwell upon him, which is the Spirit of Hashem from this Or HaSobev Kol Almin, and he will be able to smell the yiras shamayim, ve'aricho, be'iras Hashem. Because the reach also represents makif, this Or that is not limited, versus tam, versus taste, which represents Or pnimi. וזהו לציון יאמר איש ואיש יולד בה. לציון יאמר פירוש שיהיה הכל בבחינת איש, אפילו בבחינת בס. לציון יאמר איש, it will be initiation from above, but it will be from Eila Le'ela, and therefore ואיש יולד בה. So there will be such an initiation from above that will still be called ish, of course, because it will be coming from above, from Or HaSobev, from Or אין-סוף, from the infinite godliness. Yet it will not be yoledet nekeva. The effect will be like a zachar. The effect will be everlasting. The effect will be deep, lasting, solid and strong. Avas Hashem, this is Ava b'tanugim. Eventually. And this is what it means, Ish ve'ish yulad ba. At that point there will be a revelation from Ish milamaila, but Le'ela, a place that worlds cannot reach, not through any avodah, and therefore you don't need a keli because the keli won't help. And this is the second time of his type of his oirus of Ish, but Le'ela, ve'ish yulad ba. And the result will be a solid result, a strong result. V'hainu mipnei ki hu yechonenei ha'elyon. How is it? Why? because who, Hashem, will establish it, the Bas Tzion, the Tzion and Bas Tzion, the Jewish people, with Elyon, with the highest light, with the highest revelation of divinity. שהמכון יהיה אור עליון מאוד נעלה. That there will be a machon, a dwelling, that the Jewish soul will become a dwelling to a divine light which is very, very high. וזהו, and this is what it means, כי הנני בא ושכנתי בסוכך. I am coming, says Hashem, and I will dwell in you. הנני אני בעצמי, כביכול, אור אין-סוף ברוך הוא ממש. הנני. Me, myself, says Hashem, so to speak. Or אין-סוף itself, mamash. And this is Perek Zayin. We have a little bit to finish Perek Ches. So, but let's summarize the 7th chapter of this Maimar. So now we understand why the Pasuk says, why Navi Zechariah says, Roni v'simchi bas Tzion. How is it possible that it's Roni and Simchi? This, we know that Rina and Simcha shayach to Tzion, not to Bas Tzion. Bas Tzion is not a keli for this. And this is, by the way, the reason. When it comes to Or HaMemale, the light that is tailored and limited to the kelim of creations, of worlds, then the avoida of a person makes a difference. The more you work from below, the higher light, the more and higher light you get. But that's only in Or HaMemale. See, in Or HaMemale, Isha Mazra Tchila Yoledet Zachar. In Or HaMemale, if the woman initiates first, yes, then the result is a good, solid result. But that's in Or HaMemale. Or HaSovev doesn't matter. Avoida of her avoida that cannot reach that light anyhow. It is so above worlds that worlds cannot reach. And therefore, avoida here would not make a difference. ומעתה יובן מה שכתוב, רוני ושמחי בס ציון. That in this, the Navi is consoling Bnei Israel at the time of Galus, that even though we are in such a condition of Bas Tzion that is weak, yes, and nevertheless there will be by them Roni v'Simchi. And the reason is, כי הנני בא ושכנתי בסוכך, I'm coming and I will dwell in you. And the reason is that there will come a time, and this will follow after all Galus and all the Kabbalah's old with which we fulfill Torah mitzvahs, Fradl in Galus, which that also is a reason for this Gilui from Eila le'Eila. Nevertheless, there will come a time that there will be a revelation, initiation from above, in Makom Elyon Beyoter, from the highest place, that no initiation from below can reach. And therefore, Or אין-סוף will come down from there, even in a condition of Bas Tzion, when there is no proper awakening from below, an inspiration from below.
And are we going to be Kalim?
Since this level is not shayach to the avoida of the Nivraim at all, therefore, how is it shayach that we are not Kalim? Because it will come from such a deep aspect of Or אין-סוף that is Kol Yachol, that it can also reveal itself in a completely limited Keli. And this is what הנני בא ושכנתי בסוכך, and this will be revealed לעתיד לבוא, that even in Bas Tzion there will be Roni v'Simchi, there will be Rina and Simcha with Gilui Or אין-סוף. And this is the deeper meaning of the pasuk ולציון יאמר איש ואיש יולד בה, that there will come a time that there will be a revelation from Ish, nevertheless from Lamaila, nevertheless it will come from such a high level that limitations would not, chesroinus would not stop that Or from being revealed, and therefore the revelation will be in like an Ish. This is the last, the summary of the 7th chapter. Let's just finish quickly. And then
Can I just
we'll
ask you a
summarize.
question? Can I just ask you a question? That means that everyone's going to get the same amount of R. There's not going to be different madregas of people.
The Rebbe didn't say that. The pasuk says, the Navi says, miktanam v'ad gdolam. That everybody will have gilui elokus, but they will still be ktanim v'gdolim. But let's first finish, because I think the last paragraph will kind of put everything together. I did want to bring here, actually, the Mittler Rebbe. The Mittler Rebbe, I don't want to spend too much time, but in Torah Or of the Mittler Rebbe, he relates to what you're saying, what you're asking, Fredel. And he explains more in depth that even this light is really, you can say that it's nimshach because of the avodah of Adam. It's not completely freebie.
Mm-hmm.
But what bastion means, it doesn't mean a person who is hefker. A person who is hefker needs rachamei shamayim. We're talking here, Kabbalah's Ol Malchut Shamayim, without the inspiration of Avas and Yiras Hashem. That's what the Mittler Rebbe explains. And therefore, even though this Isha Yiras Hashem is like more Kabbalah's Ol, is not avoida of Ava, but more avoida of Yira. And Yira, this at least Yira Tata, the lower Yira, is more external, is more chitzoni, because it's after all, it's not love, it's from fear. It's Kabbalah's Or, which is more external. Nevertheless, says the Mittler Rebbe, that since he does mitzvahs, beyiras shamayim, which as we say before benching, ze kol ha'adam, he is zoiche legilui v'sarusa de le'ela, higher than any place in Seder Ishtalshelus, vis-a-vis which kachashecha ka'ora. It's higher than Gilui and Helem, it's higher than darkness and light. And that can dwell in Knesset Israel even when they are in a condition, says the Mittler Rebbe, of Choshech and Heder, the absence of divine light, without any spilus of Rina and Simcha. And then Mimele, they will feel it too. But it will follow after years of, of the Akevaim, of the Doiros, of the Ikvis and the Mashiach, that serving Hashem with Kabbalah's Ol, because how much inspiration we have. So that Kabbalah's Ol is meaningful to Hashem. But let's finish the Maimar, Bezrat Hashem. So the 8th chapter, V'zeu, now we conclude the Maimar. How so? We still owe ourselves an explanation. Now is all this is connected to Chanukah. This is from the Haftarah of Shabbos Chanukah, where the description of the menorah, that's why, of Zechariah. And the beginning of the Maimar, the Alter Rebbe asked, why don't we start in the Haftarah of Chanukah directly with the menorah? Why we start with Ronis and Simchi Bas Sion? And the menorah is only at the end of the Haftarah. What's connected to Chanukah? Now the Rebbe will explain. וזהו עניין נר חנוכה שתקנו על פסח הבייס מבחוץ. This is the inyan of Ner Chanukah that was established to be lit on the Pesach Habayis from outside, מבחוץ. So the Chidush of Roni v'Simchi Bas Sion, meaning that even when Bnei Israel is in a condition of Bas Sion, and their avodah is not whole, there is still possibility to be in a condition of Roni v'Simchi. And this is also because of the light of Hashem that comes Leila Leila. And this, the same inyan, is the inyan of Neros Chanukah. How so? Vehu keinyan pischuli sha'arei tzedek. Right? We say pischuli sha'arei tzedek avo bam. Open to me the gates of righteousness. Perush, שערי צדק הם בחינס מבוא, להיות בחינס צדקסך ירננו. Pischu litzare tzedek, meaning that open to me the gates, that inspiration that I can praise tzidkascha. What's tzidkascha, ladies? Unmute yourself. What's tzidkascha?
Rina.
Huh?
Rina.
Yeah, but what's tzidkascha?
Oh, Malchus, sir.
Malchus. Malchus of Atzilus, the source of our life. So open the gates to the tzidkascha eranenu, that we should praise that the righteousness of Hashem, who, as remember we learned, you remember that very well, Michla, because you had to prepare questions there, how the Malchus is called Moznei Tzedek, how Hashem calculates exactly how much Gilui and how much energy and how much vitality and life force to allocate to each and every creation. And through this tzidkascha, we get to Malchus, we get to Or אין-סוף itself. So here, Pischu lishare tzedek, open for me the gates to be able to praise my source of life, tzidkascha, שעל דבר זה תקנו פסוקא דזמרה. For this, the Chazal established psukah dezimra to excite us, to awaken us, that we should open our heart with the praise of Hashem as the source of life. אך מישהו מבחוץ לפסח. What about someone who is not inspired? He's outside the gate, שערי צדק. He's outside the Pesach, הבית. He's not in the temple, he's outside the temple, outside the home of Hashem. שאין לו בחינס רננה והספיילוס הלב. He doesn't have, and I'm talking to myself, and there are at least times like that there is no renana v'ispailus halev. There's no passion. There are times there's no passion. There's no excitement. There's no reaction from the heart, and we still go through the motions. לא מפני זה יאבד חס ושלום גילוי אור אין-סוף ברוך הוא על נפשו. The Navi consoles this person, and this person who didn't manage. I did not manage. I don't know. Somehow Hasidus doesn't touch me. I don't know. I do because I do. I know I'm Jewish. I have to do it, but I'm sorry. I'm not. There are many people who are not touched. No renana, no simcha. לא מפני זה, says the Navi, יאבד חס ושלום גילוי אור אין-סוף ברוך הוא על נפשו. Not because of that he is missing the inspiration. He's still a Yid that does Torah, but missing the inspiration, he will not lose Or אין-סוף. They are talking about someone who is עומד מחוץ לפסח הבית. We are in a condition of outside the entrance. We don't have the avodah of Sha'ar Tzedek, of Renana, as you said correctly, Michla. His heart is not reacting to be completely yearning to Hashem and completely given over to serve Hashem and to cleave to Him. Nevertheless, he shouldn't get dispersed as the Navi and to think that it's not Shayach, that Or אין-סוף, that Elokus itself will shine upon him. Ella. So what's the remedy? תקנו להדליק אור ושמן על הפתח מבחוץ. Chazal established to light the Chanukah candles, the light and the shemen on the Pesach, on the opening of the house from outside, or the opening to the outside. That ichegami b'chutz lapetach, that even outside of the opening, yumshach Or אין-סוף baruch hu, even through the opening to the outside, Or אין-סוף will go out. To the outside means outside the rim of Kedusha. Even in Klippa, Or אין-סוף will be nimshach. B'chol mitzvah she'oseh v'torah she'lomed. With every mitzvah that he does, with every Torah that he learns. So Chazal established to light the Neros Chanukah al Pesach beito mibachutz, on the opening of the house, the openings to the outside, that even in such a person who is called michutz, outside the aspect of Pischu lishare tzedek, nimshach Or אין-סוף in every mitzvah that he does and every Torah that he learns. That means that through lighting the Chanukah candles, he is zoche that the spiritual light, a high spiritual light that descends through limud Torah and kiyum mitzvahs will shine also in his nefesh. Why? Because he lit Chanukah candles. Because in Neros Chanukah shines Or אין-סוף Baruch Hu Mamash. And it's a Neros Chanukah are a representation to what will happen לעתיד לבוא. הנני בא ושכנתי בשוחך, as the Hanavi Zechariah says. I am coming and I will dwell in you, I'll be revealed in each and every Jewish soul. שאור זה מאיר אפילו בבת ציון, even in בת ציון. ולא עוד, אלא שתקנת חכמים הייתה להדליק על הפסח הסמוך לרשוס הרבים מבחוץ. The takana of the Chachamim was to light the Chanukah candles at the opening of the house that is close to Reshus Harabim, to the public domain, the outside. The emphasis is Reshus Harabim in the outside. Dehainu Birshus Harabim Mamash, meaning, in Reshus Harabim, meaning Mekom HaKlipus, because Kedusha is Reshus HaYachid, is the domain, private domain, the domain of the oneness. Reshus Harabim, a domain of plurality, that's Klipus. And the koach of Chanukah candles is to effect bringing, eliciting, and drawing Or אין-סוף to the outside Mekom HaKlipos lehapcha chashucha lenoira, to turn over and to transform darkness to light. So not only that this light of Or אין-סוף shines also in Bnei Israel, the way they are in the Madrega of Bas Tzion, that the avoida is not a proper avoida. I mean, we're talking people who do Torah mitzvahs, but non-inspired. But more than that the Or Eloki will shines also b'chutz mamash. That means Birshus Harabim, in the public domain, Pesach Beito B'chutz, which is the Pesach HaSamuch Birshus Harabim, which is the place of Klipos. And this light can transform the choshech, the darkness of Klipos to light. As an expression of the Zohar, is hapcha chashucha lenoira. וזהו ונלוו גויים רבים אליי. הנני בא ושכנתי בשוחך, I'll coming, I dwell within you, I will be revealed to you, says Atzmus Or אין-סוף, God himself. And then וזהו ונלוו גויים רבים אליי. That means that many nations will also follow Hashem. As the Navi Zechariah continues in this Haftarah of Chanukah, after Oni v'simchi bas Sion ki hineni ba, v'nilvu goyim rabim elavai. So not only that hineni ba will affect bas Sion, but also Reshus Harabim Mekom HaKlipos, that the darkness will be transformed to light, and the Goyim, the non-Jewish nations, will follow the light and the wisdom of God. To summarize this 8th chapter, this is also the inyan of Ner Chanukah, that was established to be lit al Pesach Beito Mibachutz Dafka. The inyan of Pesach is peacefully Sharei Tzedek, the avodah of praising Hashem as the source of our existence and life, Titkas Chayranenu. But someone who is chutz LaPesach, who doesn't have the bchinas of Rina, he's not inspired. He will not lose eventually the Gilui of Or אין-סוף in his nefesh, because he was performing Torah and mitzvahs in a condition of galus, and that requires Kabbalas Ol and devotion, Mesiras Nefesh. The Chachamim, though, don't want to leave him out, and therefore they established to light that each and every Jew can light Chanukah menorah al Pesach habayis mibachutz, that through the Ner Chanukah, this light that is brought down with each and every mitzvah that he does will also shine in his nefesh, even though he is in a condition of Bas Tzion. He is in a condition of chutz LaPetach, outside of the Pesach of the entrance. And not only that, the emphasis of Chazal is to madlik the Neros Chanukah in the Pesach that is samuch l'Rosh Hashanah, in the opening the door of the house that is adjacent to the public domain. That means that the light of Chanukah, of Neros Chanukah, gives us the power to transform the darkness of Klippos to light as well. And therefore, Honi v'simchi bas Sion, ki hineni ba v'shachanti besochich.
So it's talking about Goyim, Vinilvu Goyim. Where do they come in at the time of Mashiach?
As a result, we are like the memutza between the bridge between Elokus and the world. So when Elokus shines in the Jewish soul, more consciousness of Elokus, more Gilui of Elokus comes into the consciousness of the Goyim as well. Let's just summarize the Horaos in Avodas Hashem. The bottom line. So the bottom line is a person should awaken within himself a regesh of ishtoikekus, of yearning and desiring Hashem himself, through reflecting on the fact that the whole flow of chayus, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu mashpia to the worlds and to creations, is only, if you remember, a zecher Rav Tuvcha, is only a memory, a zecher be'alma to the Rav Tuv. Is only the chitzonius of all the infinite that Hashem can give. And about Hashem himself, it says, Yashes Kosher Sisro, that he is hidden. And this is the purpose of saying Psuke de Zimra and the brachos before Kriyat Shema, as a akdama to Kriyat Shema, to remind ourselves that our entire life force is just a zecher, is just a chitzonius, is just a trace of the infinite vitality and the infinite divine energy and divine light and divine shefa. And we are supposed to awaken ourselves with reminding ourselves that we are just a trace of the infinite flow that Or אין-סוף is, and that will enable us to come to experience Kriyat Shema with Simcha. The Simcha in Avodas Hashem comes from Gilui Elokus in the Nefesh. And in davening, the Gilui, hopefully, if we daven properly, and we pay attention to the Psuke de Zimra, and we pay attention to the meaning of the words, we are thinking a little bit about them, then when it comes to Kriyat Shema, there will be Gilui Elokus in the Nefesh, and there will be Simcha. Now, when can be really Simcha, when can Simcha be nimshach into the Nefesh? Only through learning Torah and doing mitzvahs. We learned about it. Asher anochi metzavcha hayom. Because Torah and mitzvahs is the only way to bring God himself, Anochi, into our reality. The third thing is that even though through Torah and mitzvahs, Or אין-סוף comes down into the nefesh of a person, it's not possible to sense it and to be rejoicing in Hashem without first prefacing the awakening of yearning to refine oneself, to transcend, to go above the lowliness of the materialistic reality, and exiting from our gashmius and chumrius reality, materialism. The fourth thing that he makes a point is that a person should know that in each and every, so first we have to do the avoida of yearning to come close to Hashem. Just doing rote by rote without any intention and no focus will bring Torah, will bring Or אין-סוף if we do Torah mitzvahs, if we learn Torah and do mitzvahs, but will not be revealed to the person. And therefore a person has to do his own avoida. The fourth thing is that each and every mitzvah, in each and every mitzvah there is a tochen ruchni, there is a spiritual content, that the doing of the mitzvah is just a sign. It's just a pointer to the ruchnius of the mitzvah. And this should be the intention of a person when we do the mitzvah. And when we say the bracha before the mitzvah, that through the mitzvah, we are bringing the ruchnius, the elokus of the mitzvah down. The fifth point is, we have 6 points altogether, is the same thing in Torah. That in every inyan in Torah, even though Torah, and especially when you learn halacha, discusses physical matters, physical aspects of our life, in every halacha, in every inyan of Torah, there is a tochen ruchni. There is also a spiritual, divine content, because Torah mainly is medaberes beruch binyanim ruchnim. And through Esek HaTorah, binyanim gashmim, we have to have in mind that we are mamshich down the ruchnius of the Torah. That's the whole inyan of Tzion, of Tziyun, or Tzion. And the last thing is that even a person that is missing in his avodah, meaning he's missing the aspect of his shtoikekus, of this desire, of this yearning, this kisufim, to yearn, to cleave to Hashem, he's missing that, which is a condition to sensing simcha ba'avaya in his heart. He should not be despaired. Why? Because lighting the Ner Chanukah, through that, he is mamshich or elyon biyoter, is mamshich very high light. Like the Gilui of the acid lavo, the light that will come le'ela, the le'ela. So the Ner Chanukah, the light of Chanukah, is very, very high, without any hagbala, any definition. Therefore, it doesn't need a keli. And through this, through lighting Chanukah candles, he can expect that Elokus will shine in his nefesh as well, in every mitzvah that he does, and in every Torah that he learns. If he only does it with Kabbalas Ol Malchut Shamayim. At least we know that we are doing it. We have to do Torah mitzvahs with the awareness that we are serving God, we are serving the Master. That's the minimum, as it says in beginning of Perek Mem Aleph. Ikar avoda v'shorsha, and so on. So this is basically the summary of this Maimar, the conclusion of the Maimar. And it's a Chanukah Maimar, but it's definitely applicable to all year long. And if you have any questions or comments, now is the time.
Hannah?
Yes.
Can we say that just by doing all mitzvahs, or the mitzvahs that we can, with Kabbalas Ol, can we say that it will bring upon us the same level of Gilui that the Or Chanukah will bring? Or this is just specifically for that mitzvah of Ner Chanukah?
No, the Ner Chanukah will help that all the mitzvahs that you do. Mm-hmm. You know, it has the power to affect that all the mitzvahs, that it, meaning that it has, the Ner Chanukah has the power to eliminate that darkness in you, in us, that darkness that doesn't allow us to be inspired. That means, what is the darkness that doesn't allow us to be inspired? Is the chumbrius, the yetzer hara, and so on, the addictions, all these things. So the power of Ner Chanukah is to affect that too should be broken through. And therefore, a person who does Torah and mitzvahs, he will have Gilui Elokus from the Torah and mitzvahs that he does, even though his avodah is not perfect in terms of how he misboinen and how much love is awakening and how much he's focusing, how much are we perfect in our avodah, how consistently are we focusing, and so on. So there are certain mitzvahs like Ner Chanukah that help us, that even though we are missing in our avodah, it's not that we're not doing anything, we are doing, but we are missing. It's not shalem, it's not inspired, it's not olichtik. Nevertheless, those mitzvahs like Ner Chanukah, Tefillin also is on the left side. There's also kesher to it. They have a power that even in an uninspired condition, there will be Gilui Elokus still if the person does mitzvahs and learns Torah with Kabbalas Ol. Of course,
Well,
there are levels, and there's more pnimius and more pnimius, and more chitzonius and more chitzonius. But Or אין-סוף is nimshach. If a person does Torah mitzvahs, even if he's not inspired, Or אין-סוף comes down. The question is, how much will it be revealed? And then, when the time comes for the Geulah mitzvah shlema, then the Gilui will be so high that it will be shayach to everyone. But still, even though Elokus will be revealed, there will still be levels.
Interesting, like the Ner Chanukah is like a simon of the Ner of the Beis Hamikdash.
Okay, yes. Yes. But
So
in a way,
that
it's
time-
even more powerful, because the Ner of
Much
Beis
more powerful,
Hamikdash
yes.
didn't have the power to illuminate outside the realm of Kedusha. And the Ner of Chanukah does.
In the Beis Hamikdash it didn't. So how come times of Shlomo it says V'naru Olav, everybody came to Shlomo HaMelech?
Okay, it wasn't a complete transformation. It was a power. In the Beis Hamikdash is a power, no question, but it wasn't a full transformation. Take. Only the Ner of Chanukah, that's a trace, that's Take Me'ein, the light of the Geulah. And therefore it has the power to transform the outside, the klipa, completely.